deal sourcers can sometimes get a bit of a bad rap, but actually the right deal packager can help you make thousands of pounds without having to lift a finger. And in this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of using a deal sourcer. Last week, I went to view one of the properties that we've secured and started the renovation on for one of our bespoke sourcing clients. So before we jump into it, why don't you check it out? This is going to be 6-bed HMO, right? Yeah. Bedroom in there, living room in here, big kitchen space, potentially extending it out and bringing the kitchen, knocking this wall out, bringing the kitchen to here and having a bit more of an open plan feel to it. Where this comes in, we're going to try and extend it out and go all the way at the same kind of level, following this wall all the way to the back, squaring it off to make a bigger kitchen space, but also potentially have a bathroom space at the back. Currently that's just a toilet, but that's toilet and garden.
Yeah, I think we need 2 showers.
And then that there in the middle between the 2 reception rooms now, that's going to be a WC.
Yeah.
So not a shower. And then this is this potentially, we're gonna, if you look at where I am now, from here, I'm gonna potentially square this off, and this is gonna become a WC. So the door will be here, and you'll walk in, and you have a WC and a sink. I think that's the plan, isn't it? There's not gonna be a shower there.
You'll have the floor here, and then a shower. So for 6-bed, you do need 2 showers.
2 showers.
Yeah,
so we'll go shower in there, toilet, sink,
towel radiator,
yeah,
and then we just have a door here.
A door to get into it.
Yeah.
Nice. This one's going to be a bedroom.
Yeah. So
lift up the floor here.
Raise the floor there.
So this levels out. Knock all this out here.
Have one nice square room.
Yeah. We'll square it off here, and we've got just enough space with this little alcove for it to be 8 square meters, which is just what we need for a 3rd bedroom. And then this is going to be potentially WC, and because we've got upstairs. So either we put the ensuite upstairs, or we have this here.
Yeah, no ensuites, they don't want any ensuites as well. It causes problems because, like, if you've got 5 tenants with no ensuite and you've got one with,
people argue. Yeah. So this will basically mirror downstairs where you've got reception room 2 and 1. It will mirror it basically. So we've got that, and then downstairs. Now, before I jump into the pros and cons of using a deal sourcer, I want to talk you through a little bit more about what a deal sourcer actually is. Now, people talk about deal sourcers, packages, and it's all kind of the same thing. Ultimately, it's someone who you pay to find you a fantastic property deal. Now, there's 2 different types of deal packages out there. The first is someone who will be a mass deal sourcer. So they will go out and they find the deal first, and then once they found the deal, they send it out to their list of investors to say who wants it, pop your hand up, and it's yours. We now, as a business, as the Property Network, we operate much more on the bespoke model. So the bespoke type of deal packaging is where you find the investor first. You find the investor, find out exactly what it is that they're after, and then we go out and match their criteria, find them a deal within 30 days or less. That's what we do anyway. And you match the deal to what the actual investor is looking for, as opposed to just finding a deal and hoping that it matches up with what your investors are after. Now, deal packages will do all sorts of different things. It can be anything from finding the property, negotiating it, securing it, and getting it actually agreed at a set price. That is the bare minimum of a deal sourcer or a deal packager. Some deal packages will also support you through the conveyancing process, help you with the legals. They'll help you with finding the right mortgage broker and bringing the right power team around you to actually help you finance the property. Other deal packages will offer an additional project management service where if you need to renovate the property, they can bring in their builders, they can project manage the whole thing, so that again, it kind of makes it much more hands-off for the investor. And then they also can arrange the exit for you, and this would be whether you are looking to refinance it or whether you're looking to sell it. They can connect with the estate agent, or if you wanted to rent it, they can hook you up with a really good and reputable lettings agent. There's a whole variety of different things that you can do. The bare minimum that a deal sourcer will do is source the deal, is actually finding the deal. But then other people will bolt on additional things. A lot of my investors that I work with are based down south in London, or they're abroad, or whatever, and they want to invest in the Midlands or the North. We actually like to make things completely hands-off for our investors. So the vast majority of our investors don't even go to view the properties that we source for them, because we send them videos, photos, and they just trust us to do the work. And for them, it's if the numbers stack. And so what we will do is we'll view it, we'll assess it, we'll secure it, we'll support them through the conveyancing process, we'll project manage any renovations, and then we'll provide them with the exit as well. So we do absolutely everything from start to finish. Now, the property that you just saw us having a look around, that was done through our bespoke sourcing service. And again, that was done from start to finish. We delivered absolutely everything, and we're in the process of still delivering them, all the way from finding the deal all the way through to the exit as well. We're going to be passing that off to a social housing provider. We have the contacts at the provider, so essentially the investor doesn't have to do a thing. But every deal source is different, and you want to find a deal packager that matches the sort of thing that you are looking for. What I want to do is jump into a genuinely honest and transparent view on some of the pros and the cons of working with a deal sourcer, because working with a deal packager isn't for everyone. We get application after application of people who want to use our services, and we turn down most people. And that's because not everybody is in a position to work with us in a way that we would like. And so ultimately, I wanted to break down exactly the pros and cons, so that maybe you can work out for you whether a deal packager is the right thing to be using, the right person to be working with at this stage in your property investment career. Now, I'm going to start with the cons, because I want to get the negatives out of the way so we can jump into the positives. But the reality is there are some negatives to working with a deal packager. The first is that there are loads of cowboys out there. The reality is there are actually a lot of people out there that are wanting to be deal packagers. They want to be property investors, and they put on this front of being a deal sourcer, and they're just not at all qualified, or they just don't run their business properly. And so one of the ways in which you can filter out people who are good versus the people who aren't good, first of all, very simply, an easy one is compliance. Are they registered with a property redress scheme? Are they signed up to the property ombudsman, something like that, where they actually have accountability, because that is an actual legal requirement? Do they handle your data correctly? Are they following correct anti-money laundering procedures? There's actually quite a lot that goes into being compliant as a deal packager, and if somebody can't even be bothered to operate in a compliant way, then I wouldn't really trust them as a deal sourcer in the first place. I'd also be very hesitant to work with anybody who doesn't use contracts. We are very clear with our terms and conditions, our non-disclosure agreements. We actually get people to sign contracts very early on when working with us. The reason being is not because we think everyone's going to snake us and steal a deal from us, but because it clarifies what are the roles and responsibilities, and clearly outline what is our responsibility as a sourcing company, what is your responsibility as an investor, and it just creates a level of clarity. And so without that, you kind of muddy the waters, and anyone who tries to get around this without using contracts or anything like that, I just would be a bit hesitant of. Ultimately, being a deal packager or a deal sourcer, you are the equivalent of being what's known as a buying agent in America. So you know how you'll have an estate agent who represents a seller to sell a property. What we don't have in the UK, well, we do, it's called deal packaging, I guess, in the investment space. But in America, it's very normal to have a selling agent and a buying agent, someone who represents a seller and someone who represents a buyer, and they kind of broker it in the middle. They split the fees, they work together, they collaborate to get a deal done. Now, we don't actually have that in the UK. It's very abnormal to have a buying agent, and so that's really what a deal packager is. And so we are held to the same level of accountability as a normal estate agent, and a normal estate agent has to be registered with an ombudsman. They have to be registered with the ICO and for anti-money laundering supervision. Like, they have to be fully compliant in the same way that any estate agent would be. So if somebody isn't compliant, they are just simply not following the actual law. The other negative to using a deal packager is if you have the time, if you have the knowledge and the experience, or even just like a couple of those things, if you've got some time and some knowledge about how to find deals, you probably should just go do it yourself. Like, if you've got the time to do it, why pay someone else to do it until you've got no more time? If you have a super busy job or a super busy business that you're running and it takes up all of your time and that's why you make most of your money, I get it. Like, work hard and build capital and leverage deal packages to then invest in property. But if you have the time, if you're sat there on 100 grand and you're just not really doing anything in your evenings or your afternoons, just do it yourself, because you'll save yourself some money, you'll learn the skills, you'll get the experience, and it just works out better for you as an individual, as an investor, because you will have built up that experience yourself. So that is another kind of, not even a con, it's just something I would say when you wouldn't need to use a deal packager, when you just want to leverage your time in other ways to make more money. Now, onto the pros, and kind of off the back of that, the flip side of that is if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the knowledge and you don't have the time, then deal packager is absolutely perfect for you, because if you know exactly what you're after, you just need to get the right deal sourcer in place and clearly explain what it is that you're after, what your criteria is, and then send them on their way. And they can go and put in the legwork to find you your deal that matches your criteria, that works for you, that does what you want it to do as an investment vehicle. It's a great opportunity for you to leverage other people in your business. Any business, you want to be leveraging people, you want to leverage other people's skills and expertise, and you don't want to employ somebody, so what do? You outsource it to another company. And that is what a deal packager is. You've outsourced the finding, and in a lot of cases, the whole process of finding, securing, project managing, and exiting on your deals. I worked with an investor a couple of months ago who was running a business, and they told me that they were able to make about £250,000 a month in their business. They mentioned £250,000 profit. And they were talking about getting into property, and they wanted to find a flip deal. They found it really exciting and thought, the idea of buying and flipping a property was really sexy and you can make money. And I just said to them, look, a flip is going to take you a few months. If you can focus on your business and take yourself from £250,000 to £300,000 in a month, then it's worth just sticking at your business. You can keep yourself tunnel visioned, you can keep yourself focused on the business, growing that, and then just leveraging other people to do your property deals in the background. The money that you are siphoning off to invest, let them be responsible for building that and growing that on your behalf. Another pro to using a deal packager is that it saves you time, and it actually can save you money. So time, it's kind of self-explanatory. I don't even need to go into that, but it can save you money, because if you are working with a builder and you have found a deal where the builder's going to charge you an extra £10,000 more than my builder would, then you're saving yourself £10,000. And if we charged you £4,000 for the sourcing fee, then the £6,000 difference, you're making that by not doing the deal yourself. And in the same way, if you can secure a deal where you can get it 10% below market value, but we can get it 20% below market value, we are making you more money. And so the fee that you're paying us as a deal sourcer, or any deal source that you're working with, it should pay for itself and more. That's the purpose of a deal packager, and a good deal packager will do that. A lot of people will talk about how much money you can make in a flip, or your return on investment, or your yield, and they don't factor in their sourcing fee. We always do that. As a business, I think it's really important that when you add your fees onto a deal, that you calculate that into the overall costs and the returns on investment that you get from that property deal. Another pro to using a deal packager is if you are not able to get boots on the ground in the areas that you want to invest in. Like I said, a lot of our investors are based in London, or just generally down south, or from out of the country. And so to have someone with boots on the ground with not only local knowledge and experience, but the connections, the relationships, and the time to be able to just go to those areas, actually to pay someone a few £1,000s to actually do all of that for you is so worth the money, because it saves you having to drive up and down 4-5 hour trips each way on a weekly basis to secure you a deal. You pay someone a few £1,000s to take that hassle away from you, then it's so worth the money, because they've got that local knowledge. They are based in the area that you're after, that you're looking for deals in. So it just makes sense. It really does make sense. To caveat everything that I've just said, I want to give you some actual actionable steps. So I would sit down and genuinely assess, do you have the time, the experience, the knowledge? Are you in the right location for where you want to invest? And if not, genuinely consider using a deal packager. Now, when I say consider someone, I would do some research. I'd work out who has experience in the areas that you're looking for. I'd work out, are they registered with the correct professional bodies? Do your actual due diligence on the sourcer as well as the deals that they're providing you. And then I'd also just suggest on top of all of that is, when a deal sourcer provides you with a deal, make sure you can run the numbers yourself. Because if you can't run your own numbers and you just take the deal sourcer's word for it, then you're not doing your job properly. It is you who are, as the investor, who's buying the deal. And so ultimately you need to be able to run your numbers and work out whether the deal is the right kind of deal for you. Now, if you're genuinely interested in working with a deal packaging business, then my company, the Property Network, we actually focus on helping investors build their portfolio. So if you're looking for a property with great returns, whether it be a buy-to-let, a HMO, or social housing property, whatever it is, then we genuinely want to help. I'd really encourage you to check us out. We are a business that genuinely tries to operate with the utmost integrity, and we provide the absolute best property deals out there. I am 100% convinced of it. So if you want to check us out, then the link will be in the description. Make sure you do your due diligence on us, and I'll see you guys in the next video.